All right, and we're live.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 129, Derek? 29?
Yeah,
129.
Right. 129.
Got it! Yeah! 129 of Super Deformed Gamescast. As always, I am one of your hosts, John, also known as Mr. Megative on Twitter. And look at how, we've got like three. We got three representatives of the podcast tonight. We got Derek, who's running the show now and doing a very fine job of it. Derek, hello.
What's going on, guys?
Rebecca's second episode as a full-fledged member of the podcast. Rebecca, how are you doing?
We're showing off what we're drinking.
We are actually. We are.
That could be anything.
What is that again?
It's mostly just apples right now.
You're drinking apples.
Drinking apples.
It's from the
That's how
World of
metal
Warcraft
I am.
cookbook. It's from the World of Warcraft cookbook. It's an alcoholic drink. It's called Hearthglen Ambrosia. I'm sure it's got some kind of like real world equivalent. I just don't know alcohol very well, but it's like it's diced apples cooked in sugar and black tea with a little bit of cinnamon, cardamom, maple syrup, and then a bunch of gin added at the end.
That sounds goddamn
amazing.
amazing.
Really good. Yeah.
That does sound good.
That sounds like too much work. I'm going for speed.
Why does Derek have a jug? Is that
because I stay hydrated? It's Everclear.
Yeah. So
Piling clips onto that GIF you have of like everybody on the podcast.
yeah, no, like I'm expecting some good gifts from Julian. I am actually drinking decaffeinated coffee. I'm on an antibiotic, so I can't drink any alcohol right now. Otherwise,
that didn't stop me at E3, my man.
I'm so sad for you, John.
Shut up. And we have two guests tonight who, if you watch this podcast with any sort of regularity at all, you should be very, 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 very well familiar with. We'll start with Tom Johnson with Game Ranks. What's up, man?
Oh, I'm very tired. I had to go to a KFC to get my debit card. That's been my night.
I apologize that you had to go to a KFC.
Wait, is it a new debit card? Did you need a KFC?
I forgot it.
I'm
So
sorry,
my
you're banking in
KFC is a bank now.
my KFC does this thing where you pay at the drive-thru and they give you all your food and then they give you the card afterwards. And I left it there last night and I'm like, man, I really don't want to go back to this KFC to say, hey, do you have my money? But I also didn't want to go like change all of my banking information again. So I had to do a cost benefit analysis of all right, how long is it going to take me to change over all my stuff?
You're going to Bank of America and you're filling out the form. Why do you need a card replacement? Loss, theft, KFC.
No, it's even worse. I have a weird internet bank that doesn't have a real location, so I have to get on a text chat with some dude in San Francisco and be like, I left my thing in a KFC. I wanted Chicken Littles, and he'd be like,
that is like the ultimate. That's like major league level. That's like the kind of laziness that I would display. Well, like when you reach the point, you're tired. When you reach the point where you're like, I left my debit card somewhere. Do I just say fuck it and get a new one, or do I go to KFC and get it?
I think there's merit to the fact that it is a KFC.
I'm sorry for the fact that my state put that on all of you.
And that's what I
Really?
almost
Is KFC
missed this
from
podcast.
Kentucky?
But hey,
Is KFC actually from Kentucky?
Yes, and
Because I totally believe that that's something that someone in a completely different, not Kentucky state came up with. And
Like how
yeah,
Arizona
this is
iced
from
tea is
Kentucky.
based out of New York.
Yeah, exactly.
or like how it's like those commercials where which salsa was made in New York City and everybody freaked out.
New York City.
New York City.
It's Pace Picante, John. Come on.
Sorry. And that beautiful gentleman who just raised his voice at me is Anthony Agnello from The Escapist, an old friend of this podcast. What's going on, man?
Hello. I'm good, man. I was debating whether or not to get out the duck at that exact moment.
No.
please
don't
don't
wanna
curse
get-
me
no,
with
no,
that
no, no,
bullshit
no.
again.
People don't
Wait,
need
what's
the duck.
this duck?
Oh
Don't
no.
ask-
Hey,
no.
show 'em the duck.
I
Show
don't
'em the
know,
duck.
and I don't want to. Oh, sorry, it's that.
Oh.
Show 'em
that
the
was a
duck.
chicken.
And it's one more day up in the canyon.
Oh my God! Don't ever let that happen again.
Yo, this rules.
Don't
I'm
ever-
Team Duck.
people in chat are already saying it. Hey, look, it's Ballbeard.
Ballbeard the brave.
Ballbeard's here.
Ball
Ballbeard
the
in the
environmentally
house.
conscious pirate.
Yes, he is. And a shout out to our good friend Steve Blomkamp in chat. Welcome back to Twitter, my man. I'm so
Yeah.
happy. I'm so happy.
Oh,
Steve-
they lifted
That
his
was-
ban.
Yeah, that
They
was a
really did.
disaster.
I wanted to be like, yo, dude, you're the cousin of Neil Blomkamp. Just call your cousin up and be like, yeah, pull some of that Hollywood muscle, man. Like use those connections, Steve.
Wait, is Steve actually Neil Blomkamp's?
Yes, you didn't know that?
Am I falling for this? Or this is
No,
for
no, that's no, dude. You didn't know that? No, that's real.
No.
Steve is Neil Blomkamp's cousin.
I have no way to tell if John is fucking with us or not right now.
I
That
can't
sip
tell
Could
either.
have been to cover a laugh.
That is actually one. You can ask Wout. #Anist. That's 100% true.
Oh my god.
I don't trust Wout as far as I can throw him, and he's a big man.
He's
so
a
it's
big
not
dude.
very far.
So guys, there's a lot to talk about, right? Like it has been a really weird week for
Been
many.
a decent weird week, yeah.
A decent weird week, but a weird week for many reasons. I meant to say earlier on the subject of Kansas, like, Red, there's some good news coming out of Kansas, so it's not.
Oh, there is.
It's not all bad. But there's a lot to talk about in the world of video games tonight, and so we got Blizzard, we got Square Enix. But before we get into any of that, Derek and I have got to tell you we've got to tell you guys about our adventures in a land called the Quiet Man.
Do we want to
Let's
do
have
this
the power
first,
game.
or do we want to save this
No,
for the end?
we have to start with the
You
Quiet.
It's gonna take
Guys,
like an hour. We don't want to
No,
cut him off. At the
It
end.
is very dangerous to start the show with a showstopper. You know this, right?
This needs to wait for the end, I think, John.
Okay, so all right, so you guys want to wait for the end before we talk
Yeah.
about the Quiet Man?
What
All
I'd
right,
like to
that's
talk about with
acceptable.
you, John, is something I DM'd you about on election night, which is that we have elected, Colorado has elected a gamer governor, and the gamers have risen up.
They've risen finally, huh? They've risen. So like I didn't know about this until Tom sent me that DM, and he was like, gamers rise up, and I was like, what? And then I looked at it, and it said gamer, and I was like, whoa, like that is like that's really fucking cool, which is really interesting because when he I swear to God, not 5 minutes later, I saw some kind of news profile on one of the Republican candidates, and it was like 20 reasons you should vote for so and so. And I'm filtering down the list, and number 15 was because he's a gamer. And then it shows
That's a
tweet.
reason to vote for the opposition.
No. Then it shows a tweet of him saying, "Hey guys, come play this mobile game with me. Millions of people are playing." And I'm like, he's not a fucking gamer.
So there wasn't like a file photo of him like downing Mountain Dew.
No.
No, it
eating
was.
Doritos.
You know, when Lady Gaga's playing Bayonetta, there's really no
Yeah.
excuse.
I-
Like,
I was
I mean,
thrilled. by
Gaga's
that.
Back
clean.
the hell up on that. People who play mobile games are still gamers.
They are.
Oh
they
no
are.
no. No! I'm not.
But
I'm saying
I
this guy
understand the
clearly was
sentiment.
not. Yeah, this
No,
guy was
I
clearly
understand
not.
the sentiment.
Yeah, he was. It's one of those things that they try to pander to younger people by saying,
Yes.
"I played Clash of Clans twice. I'm a gamer. Vote for me."
It's
you
that
know?
capital
Like,
G gamer, not
Exactly.
lowercase g gamer.
yeah. So people in chat, people were bringing up the Waluigi costume. It's on its way. There was no overnighting from Amazon, but I'm
What
getting
is
Waluigi-
this? What did I miss?
Yeah. So last week, Derek busted out his Wario.
I had to go
costume.
silent because they wanted to talk about Deltarune. I
don't
hadn't had a
know
chance yet, so I
why-
took my headphones off.
I don't know why he's not.
Well, I mean,
wearing
it's a
it right
sequel to
now.
Undertale. So it's gonna be bad. You don't need to worry about
Derek,
it.
you
Yeah.
tried to mess with us. You
Yeah.
showed us the Wario costume and tried to get away with not putting it on.
Yes, you did.
So when we talked about Deltarune, we told you had to go do it because there is no way in hell on this podcast you get away with showing us a whole ass Wario costume and then not putting it on.
This is
Don't try to play that off like you were.
That
doing
is
it
that
for
is like
This
the
is-
rules of Chekhov's Wario
Yeah.
costume. You have to, if it appears
If
by
there's
the
a
third
Wario,
act, you have to be wearing it.
This is I love it. I love this is Rebecca's second episode, and she's already not taking shit from Derek. Like this.
Oh,
is,
I
this is
love
I'm
it.
getting
exactly
really yelled at, and
This is
I deserve
exactly
it.
what I wanted. This is exactly so what I did was I said he put on the costume. It was fucking beautiful. It was glorious. And I said, if you wear that again, I will order a Waluigi costume, and we will wear it at the same time in the podcast. So it's in the mail. It's even got his little lightning
Little
bolt
shitty mustache.
Oh my god.
I'm
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna.
see-
I'm,
This
I'm gonna
is the
put that on.
The one I have is not just a costume; it has a fat suit too.
I can
It's
see-
like,
awesome.
it's-
I can already
That's
see that.
awesome.
I can already see that Anthony is waiting for this. He's rubbing his hands together.
I just can't wait for this to happen. I'm
It's-
also like, all right, Rebecca, Tom, do you guys have gaming costumes in your past? Have you ever worn or made a gaming costume? I'm not talking about cosplay. Like you didn't. This wasn't a moment of pride. Like you put
Yeah.
something on your body
Yeah.
that was not
My-
good.
My
So,
question is because I have to do weekly live video shows. Does it count if it's for a bit?
Yeah, no, it doesn't count if it's a bit. It has
Then
to be
no.
sincere. All
No,
right.
it's never been sincere.
I do not have this anymore, but in high school, I went to a private school that had uniforms. And so it was a really big deal when we got to do Spirit Week and we had Decade Day. And one year we were like, my grade or whatever was the 80s. And you guys are going to like lambast me for this, but I don't like care about the 80s really. And so I didn't know what to be dressed as. And so I looked in my in our linen closet and I found this bright orange sheet. And so I came like just dressed in jeans and a t-shirt with a big orange sheet over my head, and I cut out construction paper eyes, and I was one of the ghosts from Pac-Man.
That's great. That's spectacular.
I like
that.
that.
That's not shameful. That's totally
No.
acceptable. That's really
I don't have
cool.
any photos. I don't have the sheet anymore, but that's my only. Costume.
There is still in the basement of my mother's home a homemade Vincent Valentine costume.
Oh no!
Nice.
Yeah.
yeah.
dude.
Oh yeah!
Oh, hell
That's
yes.
right.
So when
You
are
have
you
to
going to
wear
wear that
that.
on the podcast, Anthony?
A
You have
night.
to wear that.
Yeah, I went to Joanne Fabrics and got like a bunch of maroon velour and like cut my own cape and cut my own scarf. It was technically for Halloween the first time.
No, you don't waste that. You don't only.
You don't
wear
waste that.
once.
No,
Yeah.
you don't waste that. You don't
No.
waste that.
Anthony, I'll make you another deal. I'm really digging myself a hole here. If you find a way to get your hands in that costume and you wear it on this podcast, I will dress up as fucking Sid.
Done. Absolutely.
I'll get the
make
fucking
it happen.
goggles. I'll get a blue jacket.
Yeah,
we're gonna
you
fucking
get,
make
like,
it. I'll
Cigarette.
get a little fucking
hangout.
cigar. I'll tell you to drink your goddamn tea. Like it's gonna fucking happen, dude.
Done.
Well, John,
Well,
John's-
I'm in
John's
hell.
committed. Tom, what are you and I wearing?
I don't know. I don't want to. I dress up as someone for a bad video game, so I'm not
Pac-Man
gonna.
goes. Like,
I'm gonna make you
John's face.
look. I think it's time to. You know what? Speaking of Final Fantasy,
No.
we got to talk about Square Enix.
Okay.
yeah. No, this was
Wait,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
back to the Quiet Man. We're starting
we're-
with the Quiet
This,
Man.
no. It's gonna end with the Quiet Man. Trust
Square
me.
Enix gets to bookend this show.
The Quiet Man is the alpha and the omega is the beginning and the end.
Everything. I have a feeling that everything is gonna end with the Quiet Man one day.
All roads lead
But-
to Quiet Man.
So Square Enix held a live stream for the roadmap for Final Fantasy 15 going forward yesterday. And so what I love about this is that there was no warning whatsoever. They weren't like, well, we're canceling most of the DLC. They were just like, come check out our live stream. Hey, by the way, most of the DLC is canceled. Tabata left.
That's
Like, and it was like, whoa, like I didn't even know about this.
fucking owned so hard.
He delivered a statement though. Like there is a Tabata. Like during the stream, he said, "I am leaving to pursue a project." I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but at
So-
least he said it. They weren't like,
Is
"He's fucking
Tabata
gone."
leaving or did he get fired? Like,
Did he get Kojima?
I
All right.
think
we don't really know, do we? Like,
So here are a few different ways to interpret what happened here. The first way to interpret this is that Square, I don't know if you guys know this, but over the past couple of years, Square announced some very, very expensive games.
yes, they did.
That are supposed to be out on the market. None of these very expensive games are on the market. In
Sounds like
fact, while
modern
they-
Square to me.
while
and
we haven't-
Tabata's the man who was working on every one of those games, right?
Well,
He's the common
Tabata-
thread.
No, Tabata's the man who actually shipped a game.
Yeah.
But there's another enthusiast of belts out there by the name of Tetsuya Nomura, who is directing not one but two of the most expensive projects that Square has worked on. As far as we know, there was a not feature complete version of Final Fantasy VII Remake Episode 1, but a version of that game that was in a state of readiness, made by Tri-Ace under the direction of Nomura, and that shit is gone. That game no longer exists. In
Wait, so this is
2017
after CyberConnect 2 was already taken off and they started over?
Mhm. Yeah, so Tri-Ace was the support team, and so all of this has been happening in-house. Kingdom Hearts 3 was supposed to hit in fiscal year 2017. Fiscal year 2017.
Well, Kingdom Hearts 3 is something that they have said they'd started like several times over the past, like 6 or 7 years. And they only actually started development on this version that's releasing now, like 2 years ago or so, right? Something like that?
Well, the Unreal Engine 4 version of Kingdom Hearts 3 went into full production in 2014. So we have a lot of projects losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we have a brand new AAA studio called Luminous Productions that is the Final Fantasy 15 team, right?
That sounds like the surefire intelligence of video games.
Right. And so if you read Square's statement about Luminous Productions and Hajime Tabata leaving, it's that Luminous Productions was opened to develop a new IP under Tabata's purview. But before they were going to do that in full production, they were going to finish all of the Final Fantasy 15 DLC. This came with the announcement, Tabata's leaving. The DLC is canceled. Before that, Square's financials said they lost $33 million just on reorganizing Luminous Productions.
What?
Yeah, that's a lot of
$33
fucking money,
million
$33.
just on reorganizing.
And then is your
I don't see how that's fucking possible.
Is
So
your
it-
reading on Luminous that they're all because they said that they were going to kind of redirect the
Yes.
studio, which it's a really really subtle wording change, and I don't quite know what to make of it. But it sounded to me like they're redirecting it away from whatever this mysterious original IP was to
Right.
supporting current AAA stuff.
They're making Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, that's
what's
exactly
happening.
what they're
Okay.
doing, and they're probably.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I will tell you right now, Final Fantasy 16 is the priority over 7 remake, guarantee it. They want. I know. I get, dude. I've got a fucking spicy.
It doesn't matter because none of them are coming out for 10 years.
So here's the thing. I got a spicy fucking take here, right? So here's my
Spicy
take.
fucking take.
I don't think fucking 7. I think it's vaporware. I don't think it ever comes out.
It
I've been
comes out.
saying that for
It
years.
comes out.
It
I
comes
don't
out.
know, man. I don't know.
Definitely.
So
You
it-
know,
it doesn't
would be
look
so
anything-
bad.
It's gonna be a PlayStation 5 game.
I am
and
sure it will.
It ain't making this
that's-
cycle, yeah.
That's what
They
it'll
will.
be.
Okay. So yeah, if it does come out, I completely agree. It's not going to be a current gen game.
Yeah,
Square
by
and-
any stretch of
Enix,
imagination.
Square Enix would have to work pretty damn hard to lose. I mean, they obviously do have to work pretty damn hard to lose the goodwill they've built up over the Final Fantasy series. But if there was one way they could do that, it would be by not releasing Final Fantasy VII.
God, can you imagine?
like
Can you fucking imagine the
that would be
shitstorm?
the
Like I can't
one
even.
thing.
You know
Well,
what's going to be worse
Nomura-
is it will release and it will be underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nomura just doubled down. He said that they're making spin-offs to go with the remake.
Yeah,
So
they're
what
not
Oh,
they're
gonna
yeah,
do
doing
Dirge
that.
of Cerberus remaster.
So here's what I don't
Yeah.
get. Here's what I don't get.
Advent Children, the video game.
Meanwhile,
so
the Bravely Default team could have remade 5 and 6 like it by now.
No, because they don't focus on remaking good video games. That's the
just
problem.
take.
They
I have
did
been.
Bravely Default.
I have been saying for ever since I played Octopath Traveler, take Final Fantasy
Oh,
VI
here we
and
go.
remake it with remake Final Fantasy VI with Octopath. Like use that visual style, that pop-up book style, and orchestrate that fucking score. Jesus. But at any rate, what I think is crazy about the whole situation with Final Fantasy 15 is that when I read that all the DLC, except for the Arden DLC, thankfully, because Arden is a great character, that's still coming out because I think it's just too far in development. It wouldn't make sense. to
Yeah,
cancel it.
it's done. They've got
yeah.
the Arden anime too.
So Final Fantasy 15, when all is said and done, is the second highest selling game in the entire series, and it reviewed well. So it's a success. It is. It's the second highest. Right now, it's estimated to have sold a little over
It's
8 million copies.
It's 8 million, but I think 7 has sold about 13 million.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna double check that.
Maybe it's the third. Maybe it's the third highest selling. I know it's in the top 3.
It's up there is
yeah.
the point.
And it reviewed well. So I mean, the game was not a failure by any stretch of the imagination.
But it's got to make up for 10 years of development costs. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
I
true.
mean,
Yeah,
this game started as a spin-off of Final Fantasy 13. And it's spent all this time in various stages of development, getting scrapped, started over, and that's all money spent on this
That
one
game is-
title.
And
That
who
game was-
directed it? Who was
Exactly.
in charge?
That game was announced so goddamn long ago. I had a
2000
copy of the trailer on my fucking Zoom.
2006.
God damn.
2006. That game was announced in 2006.
That is brutal.
In 2006, I was in Afghanistan in the U.S. Marine Corps. My son wasn't born
junior
yet.
high school, and I just got a brand new Zune that I put that trailer onto.
Hell yeah!
And I watched it
Oh my
100 times.
God. I'm gonna make you all feel old. That was my first year of high school.
I was a
Lord.
sophomore in high school. That's not really like.
Yeah, it's like 3-year difference. That's not a lot.
We're not too bad. John's old.
Every
but...
time I say things like that, everyone's like, "Oh, you're such a baby."
No,
You are.
I'm a baby.
I'm gonna be 39 years old next year. Jesus Christ.
Shit.
I was 24. I got nothing.
Yeah. But it's amazing to me, like, it's really disheartening to hear that Tabata is leaving when Tabata is the one who, regardless of your opinions on 15, I'm of the opinion that it's ambitious but flawed. But still, he picked up a product or a project that was in development hell for like 8 years, turned it around, and released one of the best-selling Final Fantasy games of all time. After inheriting that shit show. Meanwhile, Nomura let that spin in place for 7-8 years. The Final Fantasy VII remake has stopped, been scrapped, and restarted, at least 3 whole times now? Because there's the original version, there was the CyberConnect 2 version that came after, and now it's the assisted by Tri-Ace version has apparently been scrapped. Kingdom Hearts 3 is only finally coming out after God knows how long that it's been started and stopped. And it's weird, it's unfortunate to see Tabata go when it's really not completely appropriate to put too much on any one person in this industry, but Nomura's really looking like the bottle of Gorilla Glue that got poured into the, the workings of the machine. You know what I mean?
I have said... Go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say the real shame of all this is it's not just that they're losing like the guy who can close, like the person who can sit there, put together a team, and I'm not sure if you guys have talked about this in a previous episode, but when Tabata took over that crew, it came with a full restructuring of corporate hierarchy at Square Enix. That the way he ran that team was a different style of management than anything that had been done this entire decade, because a brand new CEO came in at the exact same time. Yosuke Matsuda replaced Yoichi Wada, and the idea of the Final Fantasy 15 team was totally new, and it was paired with a guy who was really a creative maverick inside of the company. Prior to Final Fantasy 15, the guy made games that were weird as shit. Crisis Core, Type 0, freaking The Third Birthday.
Yeah.
The man was a madman, and they're losing a vital creative mind.
Third Birthday got a bad rap.
No, Third Birthday is one of the worst games ever made.
No, it's pretty bad.
It's so
pretty
But
bad.
When you put it up against like Parasite Eve and Parasite Eve 2, then it doesn't.
Don't you
hold
dare
up,
say.
But on its own merits, it is a decent action game. It's not my favorite game of all time, but it's a decent action game.
It's fun. It's fun.
But I guess my thing is I'm a Final Fantasy 15 defender. I love the game. Like, it's one of my favorite games in the entire series.
There's a lot I like about it.
Like, I understand that it's flawed. But at the end of the day, it's that message of, it's just you and your bros against the world, that's something that resonates with me.
What it does well, it does exceptionally well.
It really does. And to see it kind of end like this for not just for the game, but for Tabata, okay, I'll take that back. Let me walk that back a little bit. The game turned out, at the end of the day, it's going to be one of the highest selling games in the series. The game is going to be fine. But I really agree with Derek when he says that Tabata is, just look at Era. Like, people are shitting all over Tabata, and I'm like, guys, you understand? Like, without Tabata, like this would have been vaporware. I mean, the game would never have come out at all. Period.
And who knows what Tabata would have made if he was making a Final Fantasy 15 from scratch rather than picking up basically the half-rotten corpse of Versus 13 to create a game out of.
And nobody faults Nomura for any of this.
Yeah,
I really like Tetsuya Nomura's work, but I also think that in the pantheon of Japanese developers, I think people put too much stock in his ability. Like, Nomura is one of those individuals who has to be very tightly reined in. He can produce a gem like Final Fantasy VII, or he can go nuts and give us something like Final Fantasy X with Lulu's belt buckles all over the place.
Is
you know,
he
like
the George Lucas of Japanese game developers?
I wouldn't go that far.
Not so much. He's more like the Terry Gilliam.
That's a
Oh,
good
that's a good one. I like that.
comparison.
I like
Tetsuya
that.
Nomura hasn't been able to complete a game that he was staffed as director on
Yeah.
since Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yep.
It's been 12 years since that guy shipped a game. He writes games, he co-directs games, he does art direction, but like all of
He
these
shouldn't be
games
directing.
No, he shouldn't be directing. He should not be in charge of the production of a full-scale title.
He's not good at it, and
He's
stretches
a great designer.
he is, but in that regard also he stretches himself too thin. He's got multiple projects going at once, and he still tries to find time. For example, Anthony to design characters for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for Monolith.
Right.
You know, and it's like, dude, focus on the game, focus on one game at a time, focus on one company at a time. And focus on the games that you're making. There's been a lot of talk about what this means for Square Enix losing that much money. I don't think a whole lot.
I don't think it's the money that they lost offhand, but I think the problem is where Square Enix is right now on their Japanese side of things, right? Is I think that they have the potential to be heading into a place worse than Capcom has been in, because they are just burning money on these vanity titles that aren't coming out. And when they come out, like Final Fantasy Versus 13 finally gets released as 15 after 10 years, and even being one of the best-selling games in the franchise and having all this DLC isn't enough to make it worth it, you know?
How is their mobile doing? Is their mobile helping this any?
That was part of their financial report, is that their mobile operations and their browser operations, which used to be incredibly profitable,
Oh, we
are
lost John.
really
Oh God.
they're starting to turn.
Gotcha. So the mobile side's doing okay for them, but
Yeah, I really the
which is
big
weird when you consider they've got like what 8 different mobile Final Fantasy games going right now that they're
and
making.
that's just here. Like that's just in the United States. The
Oh.
stuff that they have going on in Japan, China, like they have way more titles. But yeah, they're in they're not in dire straits because they're coming off 2 years of very, very good numbers. And, Project, I still call it Project Octopath. Come on, man. Octopath Traveler
sold a lot.
Yeah, it sold a lot.
And we're gonna get a sequel, Tom. Fuck you, Tom. It's an amazing game.
Well, and
Yeah,
they're-
we got
JRPG.
John, we got
game.
4 Twilight movies. If numbers mean quality, then there we go.
well, and they're gonna be soaking up money soon enough with all these older Final Fantasy games getting ported to a bunch of different systems, because like
Yeah.
I'm sure World of Final Fantasy won't sell a million copies on Switch and on Xbox One, but like
I got one.
It will pay enough to have made more money than it probably costs to do that port.
By the way, Rebecca, if you have not played World of Final Fantasy, you need
it's
to jump on that.
beautiful. It's so good. It's Final Fantasy Pokemon.
Pokemon. That's exactly what it is.
I'm so sorry. I'm very particular about my cute things, and
That's
it's
okay.
the wrong kind of cute.
That's okay.
I really don't like the current Square Enix chibi art style.
It's not great.
It's an acquired taste. I'll give you
real.
that.
I don't understand why they didn't stick with the chibi art style that was in the theater rhythm, like music.
Yeah,
That would have been great. Yeah,
Because they-
really
I love
cute.
Game Rhythm.
You know why? Because they wanted to make a game that literally all the characters were just their chibi keychains, so they could just
Yeah.
had a 1-to-1 for merchandise.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
Like they're literally just the keychain design.
Well, you're not wrong.
You know what?
I've got a theater rhythm merch.
You got some merch? I didn't realize there was merch.
I've got like a
well, so
little.
cute.
I've got a
That-
theater rhythm.
That's
cloud.
cool. That's cool. I like
He's
that.
made of wood.
Is it?
Oh.
Really? No shit. That looks awesome. I've got the I've actually got the Play Arts Terra on its way to me right now.
Nice.
So I can't fucking wait. You guys know me and Final Fantasy VI.
Yep.
One thing, and this is the last thing I'll say about it. The one thing that I like really annoys me about the whole Final Fantasy 15 situation is that they canceled 3 parts of the DLC, but they're still pouring money into this Arden movie that's going to act as a prequel to Kingsglaive.
And
this
is
and I'm just
feel
like, this is actually a thing that's happening. They're making another Kingsglaive movie, and it's going to be a prequel focused on Arden. And I'm like, just give us a video game. Like I don't like.
I'm there on day one for that.
I have a
Day
question.
one.
To give you maybe the idea of someone who played that game and hasn't thought about it since. Which one's Arden? Is he the one with the cool hat that ended up being a
Yeah,
bad guy? Because I
yes.
remember so little of that video game.
He's the bad guy. Arden's the bad guy. He's a great character. Darren DePaul is a fucking fantastic. By the way, same voice of Arden. That's it's also Reinhardt in Overwatch.
Really?
Yep. That's Reinhardt. He's also J. Jonah Jameson in the new Spider-Man game.
Yeah, I love that voice actor because he's done
so
a bunch
good
of stuff for World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
a lot of boss voices.
He does like
so
Darren.
I know him by the things that the boss yells that tell me I need to get out of the.
Darren DePaul does all. He's a very ubiquitous, right? That's the
Ubiquitous.
Yes.
ubiquitous.
Yes.
He's a very ubiquitous.
That's a word.
Voice actor. So why don't we move on? You know what? Why don't we move on to Blizzard?
Yeah,
because
BlizzCon is a thing.
Kind of like, and after that, we'll talk about the Quiet Man. I know everybody wants us to talk about the Quiet Man. I want to talk about the Quiet Man. I can't wait. Oh, I can't fucking wait to drop some shit.
Really? You want to talk about the Quiet Man? I had no idea.
Yeah, I know, right? So, BlizzCon. If you play video games this past week and you don't know about the BlizzCon controversy, then you're not a real gamer. But during BlizzCon's big stage events, they closed the show out with the announcement of Diablo Immortal, which I think is the title of the game, which is a mobile game. It's just like an action. It's a regular old action RPG for mobile phones, which is fine.
It's a pretty bog standard like mobile dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
You know, there's
John,
10 like it.
which is fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Not that there's anything wrong with mobile games.
It's fine. But reaction to it, let's just say, was mixed. To put it very, very gently, to put it bluntly, it was incredibly toxic the way that this announcement was met, and it was capped by some asshole at BlizzCon who stood up during a Q&A and said, they asked him a question, and he said, yeah, is this some, and I just loved like the fucking snarky, fucking sarcastic way bullshit. He did it. He was like, yeah, is this some kind of an out of season? Like he does this with his hands. Is this kind of some kind of an out of season April Fool's joke?
You know, he was just like sitting there with his buddies, like, I'm gonna ask.
That's the proudest he's been of himself in 10 years, John. Don't take that away from him.
His entire life peaked.
Yeah.
As someone who writes comedy, that's like really lazy, and he maybe took him 30 seconds to think of. Like, can you like?
So here's the best part. I don't know if you guys know
work harder.
This guy has a Twitter handle, which I'm not going to repeat because I don't want me to go and
Yeah, don't do the thing, guys.
But this guy's a Twitter handle, and he started tweeting out about how I'm standing up for the oppressed gamers, and I'm standing up for
gamers need to rise up.
He's like, I'm standing up.
That's
He literally.
bummer.
He was tweeting at Jason Schreier, and he was like, I'm standing up for truth in the gaming community and justice, and the fans demand satisfaction. I want this game canceled, and my goal is to get this game canceled because the gamers need to, we've earned this. We deserve Diablo 4. And I'm just like, Jesus.
This dude is and the beautiful thing is this is actually perfect because it shows that fucking like stupid fucking gamer mindset. Right, that all these enthusiasts have, like, oh, I'm getting Diablo Immortal, so I'm not getting Diablo 4. The people working on Diablo 4 are not stopping to work on Diablo Immortal, which is like externally produced by some Chinese team or something like that. Like nobody,
don't you know, AAA PC game development is exactly the same team you would use for an iOS game.
Yeah, and it's funny because even like the people, one of the things people are mad about is, I don't remember the name of the team, but the team that is developing this game that's partnered with Blizzard has made several other NetEase, has made other seeming like nigh identical like isometric mobile action RPGs that are, super cash grabby and kind of some of the worst elements that we see in the mobile game market in terms of predatory practices. So that they want to get mad about that. But then also get mad. The company.
Sorry, go ahead.
Right,
sorry.
I was gonna say, but then also get mad that Diablo 4 is not coming. Not under NetEase is not fucking making Diablo 4, and they aren't. Oh my god.
NetEase is also the company that, and I'm like, this is off the top of my head, so please correct me if this is wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're the company that Blizzard has partnered with to do the Chinese versions of like all of their shit.
I think that's
like
right.
World of
Yeah, that's
Warcraft,
correct.
It is. It absolutely is.
uh,
I mean, it's
Overwatch,
the
literally everything. Like, why would they pick anybody else to partner with for this?
So I think what gets me about the whole situation is look, I agree. I agree with people that when I say that Diablo Immortal was a dumb way to end the show.
Yeah.
It was a dumb way to end the
Yeah.
show. Like I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
there was a statement from Blizzard saying we're surprised at the reaction. I'm like, I don't know why you would be. Like, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
they
you
also
got a
from
room full of
people
entitled.
that pay. In fairness,
Yeah.
people that paid to sit in a room to watch commercials.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, and they
I
paid
don't
to
wanna-
be
I
there
don't
not
wanna-
knowing what would be announced, and Blizzard even said don't expect Diablo 4 at BlizzCon. So
Right. I will say that is it's a very stupid way to run
It is.
any kind of marketing campaign. It's
Yeah.
it's idiotic
Like,
to sit
honestly,
there and expect that crowd to be receptive.
Can I-
it
And it was such an easy PR fix too. Like, they could have very simply added like the smallest little line before it saying, we're hard at work on the next big Diablo game. In the meantime, here's this, and then swap that with
Red,
Warcraft.
you
Three,
don't
Warcraft.
even need to do that. You don't even need to do that. Think about everybody sitting on this call right now either tweeted about or talked to a friend or was excited about Metroid Prime 4's announcement.
Were that? Because
Yeah.
I thought
That
I
was a
about to-
fucking title. Like,
it was
was
a
about-
number. It was a number 4, and that was it.
it was a number.
Oh no, I was freaking
Tom,
out.
were you like, no, fuck this? No,
I was
No,
freaking
because actually
out.
that was a question. Something I was talking about in our office this week was like, I feel like they would have been equally angry or almost as angry if they literally just got a title card and got nothing else.
No, I
don't
think
think
if
so.
they, like, put a big fiery 4 on a screen and then a giant monster mouth ate the 4 or something.
You think they'd be
None of this would have happened.
You think
None
they'd
of
be
it would have
pumped?
happened.
You think
Yeah.
they'd be pumped if they saw the same polished, albeit exactly we know what it is, two minute and a half reveal for a mobile game, and then just a logo for Diablo 4?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because it's too early to show off.
100%.
I think they could get away with that.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
I
like
do.
Reb's idea. Like, I think if they just ended
Do you
on
remember
Warcraft
how many
3,
people flipped out during Bethesda's E3 thing for
that was
freaking
fucking
Elder Scrolls
ridiculous.
6?
We were
Yeah.
They
streaming
showed
that.
a mountain.
We were
Didn't
streaming
Gears
that.
of War do that too? Gears of War did the stupid Funko Pop thing, and then
Yeah,
immediately came
Yeah.
back on, oh, by the way,
Yes.
We were streaming that conference earlier this year, and we could hear the crowd like freaking out, and I was like, they're using this
John-
remix music from Elder Scrolls 5.
John-
But
like,
that's
John,
the
John,
people in the room.
Did you go to the Bethesda thing this year?
I didn't. No.
Any of you? The
We had a few guys.
They
who
had
were
the
there.
they had the audacity to as the thing lowered down, so lights went down, ended, lights kicked back up to say get the hell out, and they had the audacity to then pump through Ice Cube's "Today Was a Good Day."
That's amazing.
I didn't catch that. That's great.
That's so
Oh my
good.
God, that is fucking, that is only Bethesda could get away with that shit. Only Bethesda could fucking do that.
But all
That's
of that is to
fantastic.
illustrate the point that you can do these things. Like, when you're marketing directly to your most fervent, devoted spender,
Yeah.
then it is you play to that audience. And to sit there and show them a game that's not like, let's forget the fact that Diablo Immortal isn't targeting them at a fandom level. It's not targeting them at a market level. As you were talking about, Reb, this is their primary partner in Asia. Diablo Immortal isn't for Gossamer #1 with his stupid fucking question about whether it's an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
That's it's not, that guy. Blizzard knows, Activision Blizzard, Bobby Kotick knows that guy has his little Twitter account that he rants about. What was it again?
Ethics in games announcements.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Holy shit! Is that a thing he said?
No, but
I
it
try-
could be.
Literally, when I think of this guy, all I think of is this duck. I just think
Yeah.
of like, Shut up, man.
I was ready for it to repeat that, by the way.
I mean, to basically agree with you, yeah. I mean, it's not just for the Chinese audience. It's not for existing Diablo fans at all. I mean, you look at things like Pokemon with Pokemon Go, and then going into Pokemon Let's Go. You look at literally any other major company that's used an existing popular IP to make a mobile game. It's not for the people who already like.
It's not for people who sit in front of monitors with controllers doing this. Like,
no, it's for people who have never heard of it before or never gotten into it before to become interested and invested in the characters and understand and recognize them. So I do think the next major game, they already recognize, okay, I know what this is. Now I might try it. It increases
absolutely.
I do think there are Diablo fans who will be interested in Diablo. Like my partner loves Diablo 3. Like, and we play Diablo 3 a lot because it's a great co-op game for us to play. And she will probably spend a decent amount of time on something like Diablo Immortals because she's also into mobile games. But then again, you know, that's that category of like fake gamers because she doesn't spend enough hours in the healthy glow of a television screen.
I mean, I will say that there is the added layer to this that Activision Blizzard as an entire entity does not have the most consumer-friendly practices in place when it comes to their mobile titles.
Oh, no, not.
They're very bad about that.
Are you for real?
But on top of that is also the fact that Diablo fans in particular, Diablo has not had the best decade. The auction house in Diablo 3
was a disaster.
That was phenomenal.
That happened. So I can imagine if you have a Diablo crowd that is sitting there, they're already a little spiced up. You know what I mean?
So I want to address something that Sam said in chat, just because, like, all due respect to Sam, but I disagree with it. When Sam said, you know, the reaction has been insanely toxic and the gamer mindset is stupid, but just because that's the case, we can't shut down legit forms of criticism, which is something we are moving closer and closer to, concerningly so. I will say for me, and for everybody in this podcast right now is either a gaming journalist or an influencer. And we have friends in the industry. All of us do. I personally have not seen, at least from the people I associate with, I have not seen anything like that. I don't think anybody is shutting down legitimate forms. I mean, we're sitting here criticizing Blizzard right now. I think that I think for showing Diablo Immortal at the end of that thing was a big mistake. But at the same time, we have to be honest about. Not to say, Sam, that you're not being honest, because you're an honest broker, but I'm just speaking in generalities. But we have to be honest about what that reaction was, and we have to be vocal about it, because that guy on that stage, and I've made this point to other people, that guy on that stage wasn't a PR guy, he wasn't a salesman. That was the guy who worked on the game. And the moment it cut from that idiot in the crowd who stood up to that guy, that dev on stage, just sitting there holding the mic, going, "What do I do now?" Like, that was painful to see.
That's heartbreaking.
You could see that this was something that he was excited about and he worked on, and he didn't. And this is the thing, he's not in charge of deciding the lineup for these things, right? So that's a PR thing. That's a upper echelons of leadership thing. Like, the developers themselves, the guys in the trenches making these games, they don't say, "Well, I'd like to show my mobile game last." You know, he didn't ask to be put in that situation, and he tried to make the best with, he did the best he could with what he was given. And I just don't like the idea that I don't want to punish men like him, men or women like him, because
John, you're talking about general compassion.
I guess at the end of the day, like,
and even beyond the guy on stage too. Like, I mean, this has gone on. I mean, I follow like a whole bunch of like really general stuff, like Reddit, Blizzard, Reddit, you know, games, whatever that, and it's just like between Reddit and Twitter and every other social media platform, it's just the nastiness has just gone on and on the last several days. Like, people, you know, putting together petitions to like try to get them to cancel the game, just weird ass things that are
what does that accomplish?
Like, look, nothing.
So it's true that Activision Blizzard is producing what will likely be a kind of scummy, kind of predatory mobile title.
Or
it might not be. It might not be.
They made Hearthstone, and Hearthstone is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, but this is apparently looks like it's very long in line with like NetEase's other games of the same type, which again, I'm going off what a lot of other people who were not flipping the fuck out have said. So like, I'm willing to listen to them. No, it's okay. But I mean, that could be true. It's definitely true that this was not the best way, not the best venue to make the announcement, that they could have done other things like the Diablo 4, like just a Fiery 4 or move Warcraft 3 Remaster to the end, because I think that was an amazing announcement.
I thought that would have been a
Pretty good
fucking
announcement.
great
They should have
reveal.
ended on
Like,
WoW Classic and then the Warcraft 3 Remaster. Could have been.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
fucking
it's
One hundred
absolutely
percent.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm fucking stoked about a Warcraft 3 I
Yeah.
fucking love,
People are stoked for WoW Classic until they play it and realize how fucking terrible that game is.
But it
compared
doesn't
to...
matter because it's with a WoW subscription. Like,
Right,
you don't even
so
to
they don't have to
buy
pay
anything
extra
else.
for it at least.
They
but-
said specifically during the investor call today, like they asked them, what are you planning to do to keep players engaged between expansions? And they said, well, more patches and WoW Classic.
Yeah,
Like,
WoW
it's
Classic
what
is there to shut up the people who were complaining, basically, who think that's what
Oh,
they
yeah.
want. But it's true that all of those mistakes were made. But what is the grand negative influence of those kind of mistakes, right? Of not putting a Fiery 4 at the end of the conference, or the order within which things were announced. Like, they're not hurting anybody compared to like this toxic outcry that's gone on for days and days and days, and this harassment campaign is incredibly painful. So I think it's true that both of these are problems, but and please do not take this as like harsh criticism, but because it's true that all of these that Blizzard fucked up, but that's kind of, this is to me is kind of like the but what about socialism for video games, right? It's like it's like, you know, look, there may be a conversation to have here, but it's fucking nothing compared to the real problem right now,
Yeah,
which is the
I-
harassment and the toxicity. And when we stomp this shit out, which to me is my focus because it's far more harmful, when that ceases to be a problem, then that can be my main focus. But I know what I'm worried about, and it's the hate mob right now.
And it is my impression that the majority of mainstream influencers and journalists have been very good about differentiating between what is criticism and what is bullshit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like the reality is that this toxicity, this aggression, this ugliness, it's yes, unfortunately games have become the most prominent form of it in like the pop landscape, but it's not unique to games.
Man, I wonder if there was like some kind of movement a couple years back that was like maybe intentionally designed to test pilot like modern hate culture in a specific subculture. I don't know.
Yeah, about that.
I remember something like I don't know, like what was it? I don't it's a fading memory now.
A bunch of fucking angry virgins like yelling about
But then they just faded away and nothing happened, right?
yeah.
Nothing ever came of it. Here is my favorite thing about Gamergate Aftermath. My favorite thing about Gamergate Aftermath is if you have super racist, awful, misogynistic relatives, and they're like, "What's your problem with Breitbart?" My response is, "They published my name and my address and my phone number."
You got a damn good reason, yeah.
My wife and I had to call the DA's office in New York City so that the SWAT team wouldn't show up, and then they just go away. All the rapists just walk away after that one.
Oh.
Well, you know, when they don't get their way, they just, you know, they accuse you of stolen valor.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know,
That happens a lot to John.
So that's John's
John
favorite.
gets that one a lot.
That-
that's my
Yeah.
favorite
That's-
one.
So that's Anthony's favorite Gamergate memory.
And-
What's yours? Mine is when they sent me a picture of my house.
Oh no, Tom! You got the picture of your house.
Can I be honest with you? This is where we get into dangerous behaviors, right? And John will vouch for how fucking maybe bad, but maybe amazing I am at handling this shit. I actually worked for Nintendo NOA during Gamergate. So and my dumbass was getting in fucking arguments and shit, not like strictly as an employee of Nintendo, but like people could find out. And you know, people would harass me over like direct messages and stuff. I sent them pictures of my house. I was like, roll the fuck up. Let's go. Because I'm not good at letting the trolls go. And John will tell you that because John's had to DM me before about like, dude, are you aware of what you're fucking doing?
So my honestly, like I tell people my favorite was when you know who accused me of stolen valor, but really
The
my
Ant-Man.
favorite was last year.
Oh, Ant-Man?
Yeah. Really, my favorite last year was when the guy, and I think I've told some of you guys about this one. Like he sent this guy DM me a picture of his shadow holding a machete, and I was like,
What?
So I was like, okay. I was like, my main man. Let me. I can't remember why, but he was this Gamergate guy, and he DM'd me a picture of himself holding a machete, right? But it wasn't him; it was his shadow on the grass. And the best part is that, like, he
didn't have anyone to take the photo for him.
You could see into his shadow him holding the phone up.
It's not cool. It's not like it's not like a horror thing. It's got the selfie shadow on top of it.
He's got the selfie shadow on top of it, and so I was like, my main man, let me tell you something. I was like, did you think this one through? Like,
poor
what?
Reb.
Like, Rebecca's just like, oh my god, what does this podcast become?
And I'm sure we've dealt with nothing by comparison.
Yeah,
no, it's actually the opposite. I was still really fresh faced, and I guess this is 2015. I started writing in 2015 about games online, and so I was brand new, and this was my introduction to the world of games writing.
God.
No.
Oh, you started post the happening.
Oh yeah.
It's 2014 or 2015. It happened like right like a few months after I started. But I've been insanely fortunate in that I haven't had to deal with any of this like at all. I've somehow managed. No, but that's
don't
the
worry,
thing,
it's
right?
coming.
I've somehow managed to avoid it so far, and like even really dumb things. Like the worst I get is a couple DMs every week with randos with like anime avatars in my inbox just going, "Hey." Like that's the worst.
Hey, oh, do you have open DMs too? It's great.
I still do. I won't be able to for forever, but that's the thing, right? Like I hear stories of like this from you guys. I hear stories from my friends that are, like the same or worse or whatever, and I just like sit here, waiting. Okay, at what point am I going to reach some threshold where someone's going to see an article I wrote? Because I'm not quiet. I'm not quiet at all. Like I write about this shit. I talk about this shit. Like
You shouldn't have to be.
At some point, I'm gonna hit a threshold, and I just like wonder. I mean, you guys are all laughing about it now, and you guys are all tough. But I wonder if I'll be tough enough to.
Oh, you will.
Oh no, none of us are tough.
No.
I mean, I'm tough. I'm tough.
Oh, another.
That's gallows.
You weathered
humor.
it, and you're still doing your shit, though, right? You weathered
Yeah.
it, and
Sure,
you're still
John-
talking about this. Like you didn't give up. You didn't walk away. And I don't think there's anything wrong if you do. I mean, if it's too much and you decide I need to be safe, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Like
Sure.
you got to make that decision. But I hope that I'm able to make the decision to carry on when the time comes, because I love this with all my
I found eventually individuals run out of things to say. It got to a point where Mombot just eventually started going, like, making comments about the floral shirts I would wear, and I'm like, really? That's your shit? Like,
the thing is, like, you have to realize if my dumb ass can send people pictures of my house and my address, which I don't do anymore, but like. But like, if I could get away with doing that shit pretty consistently to the people threatening to like cut my head off and stuff, like nobody's ever pulled up. These are people who thrive on wanting you to feel like you're in danger, but they will never follow through. Like I'm more likely to get shot at the fucking grocery store than I am by one of these guys. So what do I have to fucking worry about?
Mombot, who is absolutely 100% a Japanese
He's a Japanese housewife that cares about gaming ethics and is on an American
Western journalism.
Yeah, 100%. That's what Mombot is. Mombot tried harassing me once, and I was straight up like, "Dude," and yeah, you're a dude. Like, dude, I ain't the one, man. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna fucking be straight up with you. Like, I ain't the one.
It's probably to do.
With all due respect, though, Derek, I mean, I'm a woman. I don't.
No, I know. That's true. I think the smart thing to do, I was about to say the smart thing to do, not the dumb thing to do, because I should not be a pattern of behavior to follow for anybody in the world in any circumstance.
In any aspect of your life.
Yeah, exactly. The smart...
No one else
shouldn't have joined SDGC. The smart thing to do is preemptively block all of the major and semi-major, like, harassment-y accounts.
So
they
like can't retweet
Mombot, IMC, any of those kind of people, just, your right-wing and alt-right, like, media figures, because it's all kind of an interconnected Venn diagram bubble, right?
Does that draw attention to you if you didn't have them blocked?
No, because they don't find out. They may not even. The thing is, if you've blocked them, then they've got bigger fish to fry. If I'm Mombot, which I probably look quite a bit like Mombot. Who knows? It's certainly not a Japanese housewife.
It's
but
funny that that's the example you pull, though, because Mombot sent some people after a couple of friends of mine several weeks back. Because
Mombot's one of the big ones, so yeah. But Mombot...
They realized that they had blocked them, and they were like, well, they blocked me for no reason, and they sent a bunch of people after them. I mean, it didn't end up being a huge deal, but like, that's what I mean, right?
But 90, well, again, it's the getting shot at the grocery store, right? Like, the thing is, if you've got them blocked, like, the thing is, they're looking for easy targets.
Yeah.
And it's just that one extra step that you're putting in the way of, sure, they could log into a sock puppet account and log in and find, and then, but,
hey, look,
one people.
At least you guys don't have Crazy One on your ass, okay?
Oh, God.
I blocked him preemptively, too.
Realized the reason I'm probably, it doesn't bother me is because, like, when I was a reporter, when I was doing real journalism out for newspapers and shit, I had during Hurricane Sandy 2 different people pull guns on me when I was knocking on doors to interview people. So maybe that's why. Also, if you're worried about missing on the dunks on the people you block, don't worry. Everyone just screenshots them and posts them.
And if you block, you can just hit view tweets anyway. Like, a block is only one-sided. You can still, and again, it's easy for me, I recognize, to be very blasé about this because I'm very, very neutered down to it. Right now, I'm working at a real-ass news station, and we get death threats. We get people threatening to shoot up and so. We have conversations there about, hey, where's your hiding place if a crazy gunman pops in? Oh, well, the inside of this couch is hollow, so I could actually hide inside the couch. Oh, cool. I can lift up these floor panels, and there's enough space underneath where the wiring is for me to comfortably get down there, and all I'll do is ruin a shirt. Like,
there are too many death threats and not enough hug threats. Like, when you start saying hug threats, like,
that's not a threat.
See,
just wait until PAX. I'm coming for you, John.
Is that it? Is that it? Is it on? You want to fucking
everybody's getting hug threats for E3.
Yeah, it's not. This is not a replicable strategy. Yeah. Like my privilege is that I can have this strategy because I'm a heavy white guy. But my approach is always kill them with kindness. I always just say, here is my actual phone number. Let's talk about what's killing you, man. Like, are you lonely?
You are.
I never give my phone number. You're a fucking madman.
Are you people lonely?
Yeah.
Call me.
You know what?
Let's talk.
Speaking of a kind man.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here it goes.
Speaking of a kind man.
Oh, hold on.
There's another
John,
man.
I have to share one piece of late breaking news.
Oh, what is it?
Bethesda is doing a Fallout 76 stream. That is my personal hell. It is Ninja and Logic streaming with Rick and Morty.
Oh my god.
Right now.
What?
Did 2018 become sentient? Is the year now an object that has agency?
I dared 2018 to be worse than 2017, and it's finding ways.
That is the most 2018 video game statement I've heard.
And it has pictures of all of them.
That literally encapsulates everything I've heard this year about video games. Everything bad. And now to cap off bad video games. If you really want to talk about bad video games, boy, do Derek and I have a game for you.
Motherfucker.
So this past Saturday for the Extra Life charity, I was doing a lot of streaming and I said, you know what? This Quiet Man game, I've heard a lot of hilarious things about how bad it is. Derek, you wanna sit down and stream some Quiet Man with me? And Derek says, yep. Sure, no problem. Let's do it. 3-hour game. We can get through it. No problem.
It's the longest 3 hours of my goddamn life.
What you need to understand about the Quiet Man. So I wrote a review about I wrote a review for the game. It's going to publish tomorrow. I'll give you an advanced tip. Okay. Every generation of games has those 1 or 2 games that are considered defining of that generation by how fucking terrible they are, right? You've got E.T., Deadly Towers on Superman 64, Big Rigs, Ride to Hell Retribution, Never Dead, Duke Nukem Forever, and I can comfortably and confidently tell you that The Quiet Man is the Room of video games. Yeah. It is the Tommy Wiseau production.
And that's not an overstatement, because the thing is, much like The Room, this was not a cheap production. Like, money went into this, time went into this,
and it was all wasted.
Poor choices were made. This is the developer behind Prey.
Yeah, so Human Head Studios developed this game, right? And look, I really do. I hate dumping on anybody's work. I don't like it. But the game fucking sucks. Like, it sucks. It is the worst. I will go out on a limb here and say it's the worst video game I've ever played. There is, up until today, there's sound. They patched in the sound. But when the game launched, there was absolutely no sound and no
Captions
subtitles
or
whatsoever.
subtitles, yeah.
So there's no context for anything, right? So you're just a white guy walking through an alley, and all of a sudden you're beating up Latino men.
You're beating up Eric Balfour and his buddies, like
for no fucking reason.
All right, John. This is what, since you guys streamed it, since I heard the Benny Hill music, I am curious as to what your theories are as to how and why this happened. Like, because it's such like, let's ignore the execution. It's an incredibly ambitious premise. There's like, nobody is making this because they were forced to.
It's an ambitious premise, like on paper, on a very basic concept.
Yeah.
But the problem is, so like one of the things I did a bit of a longer video about this. The problem is when you want to do something where you have no dialogue, right? I mean, main character's deaf. You want to simulate that. So there's no dialogue. You got to tell a story without dialogue. You have to film and direct your cutscenes around the fact that there is no audio. So you need to be able to tell your story completely through your cinematography, through your editing, through the body language of the characters, and that is not this game. There are several very long cutscenes where people just sit around and talk.
6 minutes. There's one scene near the beginning of the game.
Very early on, 6 minutes of sitting in a smoky bar interior, drinking, and these two guys talking.
And they're talking. And 6 minutes of fucking dead silence. This just sitting and talking. And I literally, you could go back and watch the stream. I yelled. I was like, do something. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, what the fuck are we playing?
So what they did was they shot a very traditional, dialogue heavy, like noir thriller, at least what they thought a noir thriller would be like. And then they just cut the audio track and said, this is great. This is because there are even cutscenes where the main character can read lips and he can sign. So he reads lips and talks, and sometimes he signs. And even in those conversations, we don't get to know what he said or what was said to him when he understands that part of the conversation. So we're not even like simulating the main character's deafness. They just decided you don't get to hear shit.
But we do now, and here's the best part.
Oh, no.
The sound in the game, now that the game has sound, it's worse.
Oh God, yeah.
No, it's worse.
No.
So for one
I'm gonna buy this right now.
You can actually hear your protagonist talk. So and I want to break this down.
No, they don't do like.
No,
do they do the mush mouth deaf talk?
So here's what happens, right? I know a deaf person. She's been deaf her whole life, right? This character in the game was deaf. He's been deaf his whole life. That's established. Like, we can tell that in the game, right? So he's been deaf his whole life. He's having normal conversations without any speech impediment whatsoever. He's just like, yeah, I got the stuff. And I'm like, you don't do that if you're deaf. You don't do that if you're deaf.
What would be worse if they doing that, or if they had attempted to
and done it poor? I think attempting and doing it poorly would have been worse. But
no. Because like, I think if you have actual like deaf people working on it who make those decisions, I think that's one thing. But it sounds like from what you said before that all the other things were so haphazardly done that I wouldn't trust them to do it right.
So I would think that
you're right about that.
Here's the thing. You would think that, except sometimes he talks and sometimes he signs.
No,
it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, sometimes
you're right about that shit.
Sometimes he'll talk and sometimes he'll just sign, and I'm like, why did just have him sign the whole time?
But is he like aware that other people, like, can people recognize him signing? Like, is he only signing to other people?
No, he's signing to other people who know what he's doing,
who talk to him in other
who talk to him in American Sign Language. So I'm like,
but then he also talks to.
Yes,
I guess is the differentiation that he only signs to people who know ASL, but then he tries to
talk to people. Talks to the people who know ASL too. That's what doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, he
walks. So that guy Derek that he's having a 6-minute long conversation with near the beginning of the game. He walks into that back room of the bar. Yeah, Tay, yeah. He walks in, and Tay says, and he's like, hey man, did you bring my stuff? And the guy's like, yeah, got it right here. and then they talk in sign language, and I'm like, fucking what? Like that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Like,
Doesn't
and this is
make any
another.
sense.
We're talking about Tay, right? This is another great
We're talking
example
Tay.
of the failure of storytelling, right? You only learn there are several characters in the story, and there are only 2 whose names you ever learn about 2/3 of the way through the game, because you see their names on the cell phones as they call each other. But this is 2 hours into the 3-hour game that you learn the main character's name and one other side character's name. You never learn.
This rules so hard.
You never learn the name of his mother/love interest.
So here's another.
Whoa!
Yeah, you can't. Go on.
No. We're getting there. Hold on. This is a process. We're getting there.
You don't just say that.
So no. Hold on. There's something else that you guys need to know.
Tom, I like that you went from being like, "This sounds fucking great." What?
So
no, it still sounds great.
So
I can't
so
wait to
there's
play
something
it. I
else.
just want it.
There's something else that you guys need to know about the communication in this game. There are moments, and Derek and I saw this when we were streaming the game. There are moments when, so he can read lips. That's how he understands people, right? But he frequently is not even looking at the people talking to him, and then he'll just turn around and he's like, and I'm like,
there are characters who know he's
fucking,
deaf, but they talk to him when he's like looking down and away.
In his defense, what I will say is I often do that when I'm not listening to someone.
And he's so sad. He's the saddest boy you've ever seen. Like he's just
look at
sad.
his CW protagonist ass haircut. Of course he's sad.
Like this whole game was like the worst episode of the worst CW show.
This is a CW pilot. Like I found out that Joe Kelly, comic book writer Joe Kelly, was involved in creative aspects of this game, and that I can't fathom because Joe Kelly is an amazing writer. And like you're talking about the guy who basically created Deadpool as we know him.
Yeah.
You know, he wrote I Kill Giants, which is maybe one of my favorite like miniseries of all time. I absolutely ugly cried at the end of it. So I don't understand anything about this.
Yeah, I really like. I go back to my original question because you can look at the room, you can watch the room, and you can see this asshole in every shot.
Oh yeah.
And you can think to yourself, well, this guy is behind this. Whatever is going on in there made this happen. What made this happen? Because it doesn't sound like there's any internal logic or ethos or philosophy. Like there's nothing that they are trying to, like, this isn't a David Cage work.
No.
Where
I'm
like
sorry.
you look at it and you're like, this is made by an arrogant monster.
Damn it, Anthony. Fuck. Anthony has just fucked me because now I have to go back and play this game and voice and I have to talk. I have to enunciate the character in Tommy Wiseau's fucking voice the entire time.
No, because here's the thing.
Right.
I agree. It doesn't sound like a David Cage joint where someone's like, I have this crazy vision that I'm not going to land, and people like the higher ups are like, whatever, okay. I guess this sounds like Gritty, the NHL mascot, where it's like clearly there were no approvals and there were no discussions. It was one guy who said, "I have an idea for a thing," and someone just went, "Go for it."
I have a theory.
Like, they aren't marketing this. Like it was kind of just thrown out there at PAX.
It was in their E3 press conference though. So like, big beginnings into nothing.
Yeah, but like at PAX, I mean, we talked about this last time, I think, like how weird the booth was run and how like some people, like was it Patrick Klepek or whatever, was just
play the entire game for like 2 hours.
The whole game, like whatever. And like there was no monitoring, no PR people talking it up. I haven't gotten anything in my inbox on any of my accounts about this. I haven't seen.
I've gotten 2 emails.
I mean, just nothing. It's so weird. Like, are they just trying to pretend it doesn't exist? I don't understand.
So I have a theory.
Mean, there are situations where you see a major publisher just send something to die.
Yeah, I want to hear John's theory because I've got one too. But yeah,
I have a theory.
Like any game that comes out during E3.
Yeah.
Right. Unless it's Sony, because Sony always puts out a game. Right.
I think it's very simple. I think that there's a saying, man's reach exceeds his grasp, right? And I think they tried to do something really, really. I think the game was started with good intentions. I really, really do. I think in the hands of a more talented developer, they really could have had something here because it has been proven. And like to get serious for a minute, it has been proven that you don't need spoken dialogue to have an emotional well
No.
thought out, nuanced story. Journey is proof of that. Limbo and Inside are proof of that. But in the hands of this developer, it became something else entirely. It shits all over the disabled. It shits all over anybody who's not white. There's so much racism in this fucking game.
Very
like,
racist.
Jesus Christ. And I have a theory that Square Enix saw the finished product and were like, we need to step back from this as far as we fucking can. And Shadow dropped this shit on a Thursday and never fucking speak of it again. Give it some combat from the bouncer and let's never fuck, because the game was discounted the day it released.
But John, the other thing is the fact that they're trying to get money off of this at all. Think about all the games that were just dead. Blizzard started and canceled StarCraft Ghost 2 times. That game was done. It was finished.
Yep.
That was a GameCube and Xbox game that was finished. And they were like, you know what? This isn't going to go well for us. Can it? We'll take the loss.
Didn't we just get done talking about how Square Enix, like earlier in the show?
Money.
Yeah.
They
have to fund Nomura jacking off in the corner somehow. Like, it's
There's gonna be an amazing Kotaku article about this in about 10 years.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I can't wait. Rebecca,
the story of this is going to be amazing. I have the feeling that this is basically, this can only be a The Room type situation, right? There are 1 or 2 guys at the very top of the creative and directing like process of this, right? There is 1 or 2 dudes basically in charge of this who are fucking idiots, convinced of their brilliance. And they were given a small amount of money and next to no oversight, like you said. And I think they blew it all on filming live action segments. And to be honest, like the model quality and the environment, like modeling quality for a $15 title is really solid. No, it's the animations are the fucking problem, but the game's not bad looking for a downloadable title. It's just animated like an early Xbox 360 title. It's very stiff.
It's animated like the game, like the characters in the game are made out of fucking grape nuts. Like, that's
What?
Grape nut?
With milk on them or just dry?
Fucking dry
Wow. Dry ass grape
Yeah.
nut.
Because the thing is, this game, like, the live action cutscenes are poorly conceived, right? There's like 7 times in this fucking game where they show somebody get shot, and then you get the lingering close up of where they were shot, and there's the blood spreading, and there's no bullet hole in the clothing.
There's no bullet hole. Like his fucking mom gets shot. Oh my god, his fucking mom gets shot in a fucking flashback, and there's blood coming out of her dress, and I'm like, there's no fucking
fucking
bullet hole.
spoilers, dude.
It's okay. She doesn't die. She's immortal, and she's passed down from father to son for generations.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, because I know Anthony wants to talk about it.
I agree.
I can't. But I bought this.
A 30-minute recording of Nomura eating string cheese with a
I
The
bought this
problem
game a
is
few
I would
minutes
buy
ago.
that if there was like a thing of Nomura just like sitting there, just like thin strips, and then like every now and again he like stands up and he's like looking through a Land's End catalog and he's like, I'm gonna label that belt.
Well done, Sam.
At the 18-minute point, he gets up and gets his second string cheese.
Well done, Sam. Sam, that was good. That was good.
Right, but he thinks about it first. He's like,
Yeah.
what? Do I? Yeah, I earned
did
it.
good
Yeah, I got
today.
in my steps today.
I have enough calories for a second string cheese.
He's got to do it real slow too. He's got to do it fancy, right? Like he's got to do it, but then he's got to go. That's what he's got to do.
No, John, he twirls it. He does the curl. He curls it so there's like a nice little pile.
I'd pay $15 for that.
Yeah,
Absolutely. In a second. I hope that's
Stream it.
That's all The World Ends With You 2 is. That's what the game is going to be.
You know what? At least then there would be a World Ends With You too. And at this point, I'm so devastated that I would take that.
So
there would be a whole subreddit full of theories as to what it all means.
So speaking of theories, let's talk about Dane. The main character's name is Dane, by the way. Let's talk about Dane's mom. Okay, because this is.
I'm curious what the dialogue does to make this dynamic not what it is, because
I don't even want to know, because the
dude's fucking his mom.
No, the fan fiction I have in my head is already the best. So before I played this game, I talked to a reviewer friend who did play it, and he said, I was like, what am I walking into? And he said, I'm going to give you one word. I was like, what's that? He was like, mom wife. I was like, mom wife. Like, what is mom wife? And he's like, you'll know when you play it, mom wife. And I was like, okay, what the fuck does that mean? And he's like, John, mom wife. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna play the fucking game. So Dane, his mother, is killed by, I think, like a shoe robbery. Like there's some
John.
Wait, hold up. Hold up. What's a shoe robbery?
Hang on.
So
young, very tall John Leguizamo steals Tezande's fake Jordans. So Tezande has to pull a starter pistol on him. And while they're fighting over the starter pistol and the Jordans, they accidentally shoot the quiet man's mom.
And of course, it's a phantom bullet because there's no fucking bullet hole in her dress.
Right.
But I digress. We didn't have the bullet. We didn't have the budget to punch a hole in the fucking dress. But so she dies, right? And then you grow up. He grows up to be. Well,
she wakes back up immediately after. Remember, there's the bit in the one where she's like.
So in my review, I say that Dane grows up from a sad boy into Death Cab the Cutie, the human being. And that's
Death Cab the Cutie.
Or sorry, Death Cab
the Cutie.
That's my original.
Now we know
character.
what his name is in the Japanese.
That's actually what I'm fucking calling from now on. Death Cab. So Death Cab. He grows up to be this martial artist. It doesn't ever explain why. He's a martial artist with like imagine Squall's haircut, but like amplified by 3, and a leather jacket. And he is pursuing a woman in the game, trying to save her. She's actually played by the same actress that played his mom, right? So without any context, Derek and I are like, and there's some strong sexual tension between these characters.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
He is turned on by the fact that this woman looks just like his mom.
They get the longing glances in the club. There's a point where they're both in the back seat and their hands do like the touch pinkies. There's
a scene in the game where she
smoky.
Like, very gently like leans in and kisses him on the forehead, and you see a flashback
of his mom doing the same exact thing.
And I was like, okay. I was like, what the fuck?
Because it's his mom.
And then your dad shows up and he's mad and you got to fight your dad.
Your dad's H. John Benjamin, by the way.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really, but almost exactly.
Totally.
I was going to be so fucking excited if Bob's Burgers was happening in the quiet.
He's a knockoff H. John Benjamin.
Oh my god!
I got him. So at this point in the story, I got to point out, it looks like Rebecca has so many questions rattling around in her head.
I don't have any questions.
No, Rebecca, let's hear it.
I said the big one we already asked, which is why the fuck was this made?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we're still there. I keep going. All right, just a logistical question.
Are we worried about the why or the how?
I have no desire to play this literally ever. I am so glad you are not doing this tonight.
It's not good. The playable sections in between
are so
the movie segments are so bad.
I had like 3 people tell me at PAX that I needed to go try this game out because it was quote unquote an experience.
I would rather go back. I would rather go back to middle school than relive playing The Quiet Man.
I want to see the video of Nomura eating string cheese.
I would rather. Go ahead, Anthony.
Sorry, John. No. I was just gonna say, do we know if Human Head has made anything since the Prey 2 cancellation fiasco?
No, they've been working on this since I bet they've been working on this for a long time. I bet for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I would rather clean all the bathrooms in Grand Central Station with my tongue than ever have to play this game all the way through again. Like
you can't mean that, John.
I would rather.
Those bathrooms aren't great.
I mean, it's not like he's talking pen.
I would rather.
Yeah, those bathrooms are great.
I would rather walk through. I would rather walk through a car wash lined with razor blades squirting lemon juice at me than have to play this fucking game again. Like this game, I believe this game is actually a Republican plot to get us all to hate fucking video games. Like, and it almost worked. You almost fucking had me, GOP. Like, you almost did it. You almost.
John, I really like this. You embracing these weird conspiracy theories.
Like, no, like this fucking game right here. I'll tell you what. All joking aside, it is offensive on so many levels to people of color, to disabled people, to people who actually have money to spend.
The only woman in the game manages to both be a damsel in distress and also a woman in a refrigerator. Like, and it's really difficult to be both of those things. Yeah, because she gets her whole the character's whole plot motivation is he's sad because his mom got shot when he was a kid, but she came back to life and then became his love interest and then got kidnapped by H. John Benjamin dressed up as a Death Eater with an electronic wand.
All right.
No.
At the end, he turns into the guy from My Hero Academia and turns into the Shadowbird thing.
To answer the question that was thrown around earlier, and this is just Wikipedia pulled up, so this could possibly be wrong.
It's probably more right than I am.
I mean, it looks like Prey 2 was they stopped development on Prey 2 in 2011.
Yeah.
So
they've been doing ports.
quite a bit since then. They did the port of Batman Arkham Origins to the Wii U.
Yeah.
I did not know they worked on that.
Decent port job. I mean,
full confession, I think about that Prey game at least 3 times a week.
That Prey game looked like the greatest game.
Yeah, well,
it's okay. It had to die so that we could get the Quiet Man.
Prey,
Dungeon Defenders 2 on PS4 is another one, and then a couple other little bitty things. So they've been working on stuff.
Just nothing big.
This is interesting.
What's
so
this? What's Rune?
I don't know.
Yeah, that is.
That's
Yeah, that's.
Got it.
Yeah,
that's a thing that I got emails
for,
for, and they went to my spam box.
I don't think that was an original. That's not their thing. They worked on a version of it. So I am seeing here that we've got the producer on The Quiet Man is Kensei Fujinaga from Square,
who has almost no serious credits, anything like this.
Who has zero credits,
almost nothing. Yeah. I looked it up because I was like, what did this dude work on? And because they also say it's his vision. So he seems to be the Tommy Wiseau of all this. Like,
I was just going to say, I think that poor human head
was the sacrificial lamb for this guy.
Teamed up with a fucking madman.
He's like this guy's like somebody's nephew high up at Square Enix. And they were like, look, dude, we got to give this guy a chance at something just to shut him up.
Or there was like a drunk executive meeting and they're like, hey, who has the crazy ideas that Yoko Taro's making us the bank?
So
we got that janitor that likes to drop acid. Give it to him. Like,
hold on, what was Rebecca trying to say?
I have 2 questions. Okay. The first is if this thing actually got published, what other ideas have they thrown out? And my second is
3 versions of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah. How is it that I have listened to a Twitter DM of you guys talking about this for several days? I listened to the pre-show talk a little bit, and then I listened to you guys talk about this for the last hour and 22 minutes, and somehow I have completely missed the information that is in the single sentence plot summary of The Quiet Man. The story is set in New York City, featuring a deaf protagonist chasing the Birdman, who kidnapped a pianist. What?
Yeah, the
Wait,
Birdman is H. John.
Yeah,
the Birdman. Both he and
Birdman.
H. John Benjamin are the Birdmen, and
the Birdman is basically a plague doctor. He's a guy dressed as a plague doctor.
He's dressed up like a Death Eater.
He's got a collapsible baton with a scope attached to it, and a
scope.
It's a flashlight, really. It's like a mag light, but
his baton has a scope / flashlight attached.
But it looks like a sniper scope on a baton.
Why do you need a collapsible baton if you have a mag light? Like if you have a 6-cell mag light, you're good.
Well, it's also a buzz baton, but
because
whatever.
I am a generous podcast host, I recorded 45 seconds. I recorded 45 seconds of dialogue from this game.
You're a monster.
And I want you guys to really soak in the talented voice acting that Human Head was able to. This right here, Derek. This is the guy from the bar. Your protagonist, throughout 3 times he runs into this guy, and each time he yanks the handkerchief out of his pocket. Yeah, and he's got a man bun, and he yanks man buns.
He's indestructible as long as he's not adjusting his tie.
And he dusts himself off. And then he hands it back to Man Bun Guy, and this is a theme throughout the game. And finally, Man Bun Guy, he's like, I've fucking had enough. You've taken my handkerchief the last time we're gonna have a fight. He's a boss fight. This is Man Bun Guy, and whatever you were expecting as far as voice talent goes, you're gonna be surprised. All right, here we go. It'll get louder.
You want anybody else? you would not get any press like that.
It's not enough to tell.
Not nice. A tailored 3-piece is nice.
It sounds like my version of a New York accent. That's pretty bad.
He's like
Three-piece, that's
like,
pretty nice.
He's like so to give context, the protagonist, he like flips his jacket. He's like, but I got a leather jacket on. The guy's like, no, not nice. Tailored 3-piece is nice. This is garbage. This is white ghetto. And I'm
For
like,
what it's worth,
I mean, you should just do
For
the voice acting. for
what
the
I
game,
will
so-
say, having grown up on Long Island, I know at least 6 dudes who sound like that.
are you serious?
Yeah, Tom, you nailed it. There's a little reality there, but this dialogue is fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I also want to point out that the dialogue for the Latino characters, Derek,
Yeah.
just as racist and offensive as you were probably
As I
imagining.
expect,
Like it
yeah.
was so bad because now that we can actually hear what they're saying, holy fucking shit. I'm not going to repeat some of it because we've got Rebecca here, so I'm not going to repeat some of the fucking shit that they were saying.
You should-
Whoa,
okay.
I'm the one with
Okay.
delicate sensibilities, John.
I'm trying to be polite. Okay.
So one, you just shouldn't repeat it because you just shouldn't repeat it.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
And two, why me?
John walked into his own bear trap there.
Because I just feel and like it's not like I wouldn't repeat it around my wife, and I just
You just
no,
shouldn't
like,
repeat it.
Yeah.
maybe I just won't repeat it. It's
You just
bad.
shouldn't.
It's real fucking bad. Like it was bad to the point where I put the controller down and I walked out of the room and I was like, I didn't just hear that.
Guys, I
that-
am
that-
now
I didn't just hear
googling the Quiet Man retail release because I gotta.
Yeah,
have
no,
this
and I'm
up.
not kidding. There are only 3 Hispanic people in the game. There is very tall John Leguizamo. There is, I kept calling him Johnny Depp, but honestly, he looks more like Eric Balfour. And then there is an endless swarm of completely identical dudes.
It's the 3 same character models you're fighting over and over in the game.
Yeah, it's the
three same
one guy wearing slightly different clothes, but it's like somebody out there had, what is it when it's like triplets, but they have 117 kids at once?
Yeah, every enemy in this game is dressed like a walking Mountain Dew can.
Yeah.
Like that's
There's
it's
one dude with a
bright
weed jacket.
green
see now-
colors,
You
and
see, now
They
I'm back
drive
in.
they drive like a pimped out Lincoln Town car that's like painted metallic Mountain Dew green. Like it's so bad.
I realized why I didn't remember this being announced at E3, and it's because it was announced at the Square Enix.
Yeah, the
press
Square one.
conference.
But still, it was one of the
thing
only.
that nobody watched.
It is also
Remember-
one of the
Announced
only things they actually announced at their own press conference, which is like, this is your man's? Like.
But that's why we didn't hear about it because I mean people heard about it, but that's like
It was-
why it went so under the radar there
Yeah.
because all the people that were watching the Square conference wanted Final Fantasy VII news.
Yeah.
you know
Holy
what?
shit, this is the Elijah Wood game.
Elijah
No,
Wood's not in it.
that's-
this
No,
is
no,
not
it's
like-
not.
No.
No,
The
okay,
Elijah
this isn't
Wood
that.
is Ubisoft. That's Ubisoft.
Oh, that's the Ubisoft
Okay,
one.
yeah.
Okay,
That's
I'm getting all
actually-
these weird.
I'm told that people who have played the Elijah Wood horror game that it's actually pretty sweet.
Oh,
Okay, all
That's
right.
good.
For some reason, I thought this was that.
So if I were Square Enix, this is what I would do.
Okay, cool.
When the room was released, Tommy Wiseau was marketing it as a series film, but everybody told him no, this is garbage. Everybody laughed at it. So then he remarketed it as this quirky black comedy, right? And of course, it's a shitty movie, but it was a savvy business move for him. You know, if Square Enix had any sense, they would market this like Tommy Wiseau decided to market The Room. Hey, you know, this is a quirky black game. You know, like it's weird and you're not going to understand what's going on, but play it to get the experience. You know, like, experience the strangest experience. It's the game everybody's talking about because everybody is talking about it. You know, play the game that everybody's talking about right now to experience the weirdness for yourself. Like that's how I would market this. I'll tell you right now. If you can get a copy of it and you've got some friends sitting around and you want to have a few drinks and a few laughs, it for one playthrough, it is good for that. I will give you that. It is good to sit there and dunk on this game for about 2 or 3 hours and then never fucking touch it again. Like that is what this game is for. That's what this game is for.
You'll spend more on pizza than you spent on the game. So.
You will. It's cheap as hell. You can get it for like $10 now. I already can't wait for Tom's opinion because Tom's gonna play it now. So it is something that I can't. I'm still baffled by the fact that this thing fucking exists. Like it all circles back to why. like why? Like how did this get approved for release? I don't. It
Mm.
is.
It's bad beyond in ways that defy logic and reason. I can come up with no good explanation for how this came to be that doesn't rely on at least one person in the chain being a psychopath.
Yeah.
I don't know what the story could be because I have to make these crazy assumptions about at least one person to make it make sense. There's no amount of misguidance that makes this game come to be.
And just real quick from a gameplay perspective, I'll mention that very quickly. Punches routinely sail through enemies. Several bosses I beat by, I have no idea how. I was punching them and nothing was happening. And then Derek put on Wake Me Up Inside by Evanescence and I suddenly beat the boss. Like, that's actually true. I'm not making that up. This thing.
What was the release date on?
It was
last week on
last Thursday.
Yeah. So it's a week ago.
I'm gonna be very interested when Square Enix's next quarter financials come out.
Oh my God.
I'm very interested to see if they whatever this makes, but I'm very interested to see if they mention it to their investors.
Yes.
Reb,
At all.
between now and the end of their holiday quarter, Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to come out.
Oh,
We'll never hear about this game again.
Nope.
No, fuck that. I want the sequel. I want the Quiet Man 2. I want the Quiet Man 2. Or there's got to be a
Quiet
sequel.
Mom.
The Quiet Mom. That's the sequel. The Quiet Mom.
The Quiet Mom wife.
The Quiet. I've got to know how this ends. I got to know. I got to know the story. I got to know the story. So we'll go ahead and we'll we're bumping up against 10:30. I just wanted to talk about the Quiet Man.
God,
I could tell. You talked about it for a half hour.
it's like
I
it's an
had to-
exorcism for us. I cannot
really is.
get this out of my system.
It really is. I needed to vent. Derek and I had a really unfortunate 3 hours playing the Quiet Man, but it was all for the kids. We raised a few $100s, so I can't regret it. But anyway, a little house cleaning. Saw some new people in chat tonight, so please subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate that, and also follow us on @official SDGC on Twitter. Please do not forget, exactly 1 week from today, I will be hosting Kind of Funny Games Daily with Greg Miller in San Francisco. So I will tweet that out. I'm very, very excited about that. I was super nervous about it, but I'm not anymore. I'm just fucking stoked to do it.
Nice.
It's gonna be rad. It's gonna be fucking rad. And we got some other stuff coming up too. Derek and I and Anthony, are you going to be recording some Final Fantasy retrospective stuff with us this weekend?
This weekend is looking doubtful, my brother. I'm gonna be on date day tomorrow or Saturday.
What about Sunday?
Sunday, I'm in.
Sunday
Derek,
would be better for me as well, to be honest
Let's
with
do
you.
Sunday.
So.
We can knock out 3, 4, 5, and 6. It'll take less than an hour.
I'm in.
Yeah,
Let's
if we
do
get Finn in, then
So-
we're perfect. We gotta
Sunday.
because Finn
Let's do
really
it.
wanted to be on for.
We did.
For
I'm ready
those,
to talk about 3 Onion Nights for days.
Onion Nights and talk about it's going to be good. So we're going to do that. We'll have some more episodes on our Final Fantasy retrospective. Of course, we're going through every single game, 1 through 15 in the main series, and we're going to talk about our thoughts on the entire series as a whole. We've already got on our YouTube channel, we've got Final Fantasies 1 and 2 up, and we're going to release those piecemeal week by week. And if you guys could do me a favor and follow everybody on Twitter on this podcast, at Derek of the
There's
Dyke.
a thing down below that has all of us.
You should do that,
with
yeah.
links to all the cast.
dang.
Links to all the Twitter. Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
I'll
Derek
put in
can
the work.
Look at that, Derek. I don't even need to say it anymore. Just go down there and of course you can find Anthony. Where can the people find you on Twitter?
You guys can find me at a John Agnello, and I encourage you to go to escapistmagazine.com and follow our Twitch channel as well. It's twitch.tv/escapistmagazine. I host a show twice a week. I talked to Patrice Desolé for the 15th anniversary of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time today. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
That's the kind of thing you can get every single week.
When are we streaming Warrior Within?
Dude, can you take me higher?
Like Anthony and I are going to stream the Warrior Within, and I'm just going to sing really bad 90s rock songs the entire time.
She fucking hates me.
Like Anthony's gonna be climbing up a pillar, and I'm gonna be like, "Can you take me all the way?"
John, do you
Like, it's gonna be great.
understand that I finished that stream today and then was immediately like, what am I to now? And then I put on Soundgarden. That was like the only choice. I needed
Hell
some
yeah.
90s.
Nothing-
We were talking about bad 90s music, not great 90s music. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
me?
I had to go good.
I fucking love me some edgy ass Persian princes. And Tom, where can people find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at that Tom Johnson.
Please go. They do. Gamerings does a live podcast every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Go in there.
Oh yeah, we do that.
Troll
Yeah.
Tom for me because I'm there every Tuesday and trolling Tom and asking him to
I
talk
appreciate
about.
that, John.
Yeah, I actually pay money to troll Tom. I want to make sure that I'll throw him $5. I want to make sure he sees my shit posting. I will not be ignored. I will not be ignored.
The YouTube super chat system is flawed in that it lets John say bad things.
It's gotten to the point where I'll pop in there and so like Andrew will read a chat and fucking Jake is like, is that John?
He'll drop a grenade and then leave.
Yeah, I'll just I'll drop something. I'll shit post to leave, and Jake's like, "Oh, look, it's John. John's back. Like, great, fantastic." And yeah, so that's it. And so, does anybody else have anything they want to add before we sign off?
No.
No.
I think that's what we got.
Okay, awesome. Well, until next week.
The Quiet Man is a great game.
It is. Wow.
Shut it down.
Big no.
Not always portrait. We don't always agree. We always keep it real. Good night.